All right, welcome to the Gorilla 11 new features video. And today we are going to go over some of the new features in Gorilla Studio 11. And we have some really cool features. So let's get started. So there are over 10 new features and enhancements in Gorilla Studio 11. And in this webinar, we're going to go over the top few features. The very first one is a scheduling feature, and we're really proud of this one. This is called Breakdown Assistant AI. And yes, that's right, Gorilla is now in the AI world. This is a scheduling add-on that automatically tags your imported screenplay using OpenAI. So let me show you how this works. So I've got Gorilla Studio 11 launched right here. Now let me make this very clear. Yes, this is a feature in Gorilla Studio 11. However, it is an add-on. And an add-on is basically like we have Koala Call Sheets and the ratebook. It's an add-on feature that if you want to subscribe to that, you can. And it's because it's AI. That's why. But it's very reasonable, and it saves you hours and hours of time because it will break down your screenplay automatically using AI. So let me show you how this works. So we're going to go into one of our schedules here. And this is scene 1 of a schedule. And as you can see here, the screenplay is color coded and we see elements here in the elements list. Now this one was already tagged with AI. And you can see that down here, there's a new button and it looks like a little spray can, and it is a colored can right now, which means this scene has been tagged with AI. So I'm going to go to a scene that has not been tagged, and I'll show you how it works. So I'm going to go to scene 4. And as you can see, this scene, there's no color coding here in this scene. There's no scheduled elements up here. However, we do have our categories here. So we have our cast members and our props that were imported either prior or from Final Draft, or either from another screenplay program, or that we've done in Gorilla not using AI. So I'm going to click on the tag button down here, and this also can be accessed under the Screenplay pull-down menu, and you click on the Breakdown Scene with AI. It does the exact same thing. So we're going to go into the Breakdown Assistant AI screen, and by default, it's going to show you your monthly allotment. If you have 150 scenes per month that you can break down, which is well over a screenplay, and it resets every month. And you could turn that off if you want by clicking here, do not show AI status each time you go into this screen. So you can turn that off. And then there's the status button here. If you click that, it will show you basically what you just saw. It'll show you the monthly scenes used, how many you have left, how many scenes per request you can ask, you can do, and I'll show you that. You could do multiple scenes. And if you require more scenes than the 150 scenes a month, you can get bonus scenes. You just need to contact us and we can work with you to get bonus scenes for the month. We can do that. And there is a trial mode also. So if you download Gorilla in either a demo mode, you can try Breakdown Assistant AI for 3 scenes. And even if you purchased the Gorilla subscription and you want to try Breakdown Assistant, you get 10 free scenes that you can try. So let's go ahead and close that up. And if you click the About button right here, this will tell you a little bit more about Breakdown Assistant AI and you can activate it right here if you want. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is you can see the scene right here, and I'm going to click on the Run AI button. And what this is going to do is it's going to send a call to OpenAI. It's going to go through the screenplay, and it's going to automatically tag any element that it sees. And these elements, of course, includes props, it includes set dressing, it includes wardrobe, it includes special effects, and we're going to see the result here in just a second. So here we go. It's pretty quick, as you can see. This was one scene, and in this one scene, we found, or AI found, 11 tagged elements. And you can see here in this list that the list here, it's showing it by alphabetical, and this is all for scene 4, and it's showing you the name of the element that was found, a category that AI attached it to. So in this instance, this 1989 Panasonic receiver was automatically tagged to the category props. It's going to tell you here the confidence level, a scale of 0 to 1, and in increments thereof. And this is confidence of 1, so that's pretty confident that it found a element here. And this is the source text that it grabbed from, the AI grabbed from. So this is the text that AI looked at, and it realized, there's 1989 Panasonic receiver, and so it tagged it as a possible prop. Down here, we've got another one, 60s Mancini brass Hammond B3 cheeseball music. And here it is right over here. This is the source text, and it was tagged as music. Now, here's a couple things that are really interesting before we accept or reject each one of these tags. You can go through and say down here and click here and say, well, that's perfect, but I don't want all of this to actually be the element name. Even though this needs to be tagged, let's just call it cheeseball music. So you can actually modify the name. Of course, it put it down over here because it alphabetizes it. So it's going to tag cheeseball music as that element. However, it of course is referencing the actual text, the source text. That's why it's being tagged. Let's go down here. It found a sound, intercom bleat right over there. Here's another really long one, needlepoint sign, which of course it found, and you can change that also if you want by just saying, well, we just need a needlepoint sign. I don't want the whole thing to be tagged. So you can do that. And you want to do all this before you click accept, of course. And you could go through all of these and decide if you want to modify them or not. Now, another thing you can do, and you should check, is to make sure that it attached to the proper category. So for example, cheeseball music to the music category, intercom bleat to sound. Everything looks pretty good. But let's say, for example, that plunger, it usually is a prop because it's something that's held. But let's say we know that this plunger is in the background. I'm just giving a scenario here. And it's not touched by the actor. And if that's the case, it's not really a prop. It's really a set dressing. So what you can do, of course, before you click accept, is select the category and modify it, if you want, to set dressing. And now it's going to tag this into the set dressing category as opposed to the props category. And then you can go through each one of these tags and accept or reject the tag. So for example, if I want to accept the first one, you just click accept, and it's going to go through and say accepted here, and it is now tagged. I'm going to show you that in a minute when we go back to the scene 4. It is tagged in scene 4. Well, let's just do it right now real quick. Let's just move these out of the way. And you can see right here, 1989 Panasonic receiver is tagged in this scene. Now you can do this one at a time if you want. So let's do one more bowling ball collection. We'll skip Barney Duff for a second and do accept. And there we go. You can see accepted, needs response, accepted, or reject. Let's say, for example, we want to reject cheeseball music. We don't want it there. We're going to click reject. Now, once it's rejected, you cannot accept it. You would have to go back and add it manually in scene 4 if you want. And then there's an accept all button too. If you just want to accept all, it will go through and accept all. Now, here's another really cool thing is that if, and I don't have this in this scene, but if any of these tags were already tagged in the scene, it would have said here already tagged in blue. And then you wouldn't accept it, you would reject it. But if you clicked accept all, it would skip the already tagged. Okay, so let's go ahead and I did accept a few of them. So let me just do a couple more here. Let me just do this one. And let me go down here and do that one just to show what it looks like. And we're going to close this. We're going to close this right here. And you could see that these elements have been tagged. If you want to see them color-coded in the Screenplay display, you can go up to Screenplay and say refresh tags for the scene, and it will go through and refresh the tags, and you can see them color-coded here in the scene. Now, bear in mind, if we changed, it wasn't run here, but we changed a very long one, the needlepoint one, I think, right? And another one too, to just needlepoint sign. I didn't tag it, but let me show you that. For example, let me go back to tag. Now here's another really nice thing is you can go back to the tag and say show AI. It's going to show you. See, we already did one scene, but I can turn that off so I don't show it every single time. So if I click show AI results on this particular scene, I already tagged this scene with AI. So it doesn't go away. It still stays here. So it still stores the AI tags. So I can go through and find that needlepoint one. Now remember, in the tag, it says the source text. It does say needlepoint sign, but it used to say needlepoint sign, which reads, etc., etc., etc. So if I click accept, and it's going to accept the needlepoint sign, and if I go back to the scene, and you'll see it's right there, and let me refresh tags for this particular scene. And now notice down here, needlepoint sign is tagged, but notice it's the full tag that AI found, which is needlepoint sign, which reads a writer writes a teacher. It was a very long source text there that it found. It doesn't tag the whole thing. It just tags what we told it to. Well, I'm sorry, it does tag it, but it only color codes what we told it to color code. Okay, so that's basically how this works, and you could see how easy it is, and it finds things that sometimes you don't even think about. So let me go through another one now. I'm going to click on, I don't even have to change the scene, but if I wanted to go to another scene, I certainly can. Now this is already tagged, but let me click on the tag button down here, and instead of clicking Run AI, now this is already tagged, let's select the Select Multiple button. And what this will do is it'll show you a list of all your scenes, and on the right, you'll see a show AI results. So scene 4, for example, is the one we just did. If I click it, it's going to go right back to show you these tags. If I were to show scene results for another one, it would show that result. But if I want to do multiple scenes instead of just one at a time, you can select up to 5 scenes to tag at a time. So if I wanted to do, let's say I wanted to do scene 6, scene 7, and scene 8, well, let's just say I want to do 3. It'll say number of scenes 3, and I click on Run AI. It's going to go through and tag elements for all those 3 scenes. So let's go ahead and click that. And the reason we limit it to 5 scenes, not because it can't do the whole screenplay. It can, but we want to have a buffer there so that whoever is doing this can go through and double check all the tags to make sure that they are proper. So that's why we limit it to 5 scenes. It's still fairly quick, and you can see that when we do these 3 scenes, you will see them separated into scene 6, scene 7, and scene 8. All right, so here we have the results of the multiple scene AI tag, and the screen looks just a little bit different because we have different scenes. We have 3 scenes here. So by default, you can see down here it says sort by element, and so you can see that Barney is the first element. There are 2 of them because he is in 2 different scenes, scene 6 and 7, and then brutal whack across the neck. It's a stunt. That's a good tag. Scene 7, and again, this is alphabetical. This is by element scene, by the name of the element. If you wanted to sort by the scene, you could click sort by scene, and then you could see here you've got scene 6, and there's 4 of them here for scene 6, and then scene 7, there's a few here, and then all the way down to scene 8. So this is an interesting one because let me go back to scene, sort by element. I keep on saying scene, sort by element. And you'll see that Barney is found in scene 6 and scene 7. He's probably in scene 8 too. Let me check down here to scene 8. See if I see any. Okay, I don't. But and that's common. You're going to see, if you do a multiple scene tag, you might see the same element in multiple scenes. So if I select here, accept for scene 6, it'll only add this element for scene 6. It will not add it to scene 7. Unless, of course, I select the Accept All button, right? So let's say, for example, I wanted to add, let's just do scene 6. So I want to sort by scene, and you can decide. I think it's easier to do by scene because you're in that mindset. So we're going to set, no, this is very interesting. Here's an already scheduled. So let's check that out real quick. Let me move this out of the way, move this out of the way, and I'm going to go to scene 6 just to check it out. And you can see that there are a few things already tagged. Now, these could have been tagged in the screenplay. They could have been tagged in Gorilla prior to the AI Breakdown Assistant. Okay, Breakdown Assistant AI. So if I go back here, you can see that Barney is already scheduled. Now, if I were to click accept, it's going to give me an alert message here that says, hey, this element is already scheduled. Are you sure you want to schedule it again? Now, we do allow this just because we just do, but you really should click cancel because you really don't want two characters there with the same name. And then if I go to receiver, and we can go down here and tag that one, and Barney suits up and slings on his here. His here? What the hell does that mean? Okay, pause. So I found something actually very interesting here in this tag. And each time you do an AI tag, if you do an AI tag on the same scene multiple times, you might not get exactly the same thing because it's AI. So this said, I changed it, but this said here. As you can see here, Barney slings on his here as wearable equipment, and I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, what the hell is here? Did AI tag something wrong? And then I realized, well, the screenplay is not right. I went back to the screenplay on scene 6. Now, I fixed it already, but right here, slings on his, it's supposed to be gear, but it said here. So this is very interesting. AI found gear, well, it found here and said this is probably a misspelling. It probably should be gear. Now, it didn't fix that. It didn't say gear, but this is a perfect catch. This is why you should not do the entire screenplay in AI without checking. So this, I went in here. This used to be H. I paused the video because I'm like, what the hell happened? And I went in and I changed it. So that's what you should do. You should change this to gear, and then this is ready to go. See, look at this. This is a point in confidence because AI knew there was something fishy here. So if I click accept on gear as a wardrobe, which totally makes sense. If I go back here, notice it says gear. And now I manually fix that. If I do a refresh tag scene, this is actually a really good find. And it tagged gear. Now I fixed that in Gorilla because what I did is I clicked the edit button here because you can edit screenplay. And then I clicked the line here, and this used to say here with an H. I manually changed it to G, and then clicked right. So I'm going to close that and close that. So that's actually quite a nice find. So AI actually found a misspelling. It didn't say, hey, there's something wrong here with the screenplay. There's a misspelling. But it at least tagged it, and then human intervention went through and found that issue and fixed it. So that is a really nice feature. So anyway, you can go through. That's why it's important to go through each and every tag. AI is great, but you really need a human intervention to go through and check every single tag. Use it as an assistant, and that's why it's called Breakdown Assistant. Okay, let me see if there's anything else I want to show with this new feature, because this is our flagship feature for Gorilla 11. Another few things here just to know. You can, like I said, you can click status to see where you are, show AI results if you want to go back to the AI results to either accept or reject a tag, run AI, I showed you that, select multiple, delete and delete all. If for some reason you want to delete, now this does not delete the scene. Notice that if I click delete here, this will delete the breakdown AI record, which is what is in this scene. It does not delete the scene behind it in breakdown sheets. The only reason you want to do this is maybe you want to clear all the tags in Gorilla and then go back and do another AI run. You could certainly do that, but it will not delete the scene. Okay, the only way to delete a scene is to go here into breakdown sheets and select delete breakdown sheet. And same thing with delete all. This will go through and delete all the breakdown AI scenes that have been done. So if you want to start from scratch, you could certainly do that. And then these buttons down here, just go to the next scene. It will generate the next scene. This will go to scene 7, scene 8, etc. So that is this feature. Great feature. Hope you enjoy it. The next feature in Gorilla 11 is called Tag a Cast Member or a Background Actor as non-speaking. And this is really, really a nice little hidden feature. What this allows you to do is it allows you to tag a cast member or a background actor on a breakdown sheet as non-speaking, which is basically either a voiceover or off-screen. So then you can control if they appear in certain reports like the Day Out of Days report and call sheets. And let me show you how this works. So Currently, this is a perfect example here on scene 1. If you can see here on scene 1, I've got 2 cast members that are scheduled. Actually 3. There's an extra here. The 101 rich lady walking poodle is a background actor. Barney and Amanda are cast members. But if you look here at the scene, you can see that Barney and Amanda don't have any dialogue. So for some reason, they're tagged in this scene, but they don't have any dialogue. Maybe they have off screen, maybe they have voiceover, maybe whatever reason, but they're still tagged in the scene, but they don't have dialogue. So we want to tag them as non-speaking. So now, the rich lady walking poodle, I believe here we go. A fancy dressed lady walks her poodle down the street. So she is actually in the scene. So we're not going to do anything with rich lady walking poodle. But I'm going to go. I'll tell you before I do this. Let me show you why you want to do this. Because if you go and print a call sheet, and let me go to shoot days, and select day 1, and then we're now looking at scene 1 for the call sheet, and this is for this particular day. You can see that Barney and Amanda, these 2 characters, are scheduled for that particular day. And if we were to print a call sheet for the day, we would see them. And you can see here on the call sheet, you can see that Barney is scheduled for this particular call sheet, and so is Amanda. However, they might not be needed because they don't have dialogue. Similarly, with a day out of days report. Now here is a day out of days report for this particular, for the schedule, and you could see that Barney and Amanda, both are in the start work category. But the problem is, they really don't, because they're not in the scene. So it's a little confusing because they're not really supposed to be attached to that particular day. So let's fix this. What we're going to do now is we're going to go back to the breakdown sheet, and we're going to specify different parameters of voiceover, off-screen, and non-speaking for, actually we'll do it for all 3. We'll show the difference. So let's go into, well actually I said I wasn't going to do anything with the rich lady walking poodle, but let's do that because we can show this feature. If you click on the 3 dots here, there's a non-speaking feature here that is new. So I'm going to click on non-speaking, and you could see that in parentheses it says non-speaking, and I'll show you why that's important. But let's go into the main character here, Barney. And remember, he doesn't have any dialogue in this scene, as you can see. So we're going to put, we'll put voiceover or off-screen. I don't think it matters really for this particular scene. And I'm going to do the same with Amanda, because again, they're not in this scene physically, but maybe they were tagged here because they have voiceover. It's possible. So now, if I go back and print a call sheet, well, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click on shoot days, go back to day 1, and notice here in the cast call times section, now it says Barney voiceover, Amanda voiceover. Now, it doesn't specify here rich lady walking poodle in the call sheet, but it does in another report, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. So let's go ahead real quick and print a call sheet for this particular day. And remember, when we printed this out the first time, even though Barney and Amanda as cast members did not have any dialogue in the scene, they appeared on the call sheet, which was deceiving. And now we have a new call sheet for the same day. And you can see here under roles played, this is where the cast member section is. You can see that Barney and Amanda is not here. Rich lady walking poodle is still here because this particular background actor should be here for this particular scene. Even though she is non-speaking, she still needs to be present for the scene. Now, notice, by the way, it's a little, the names get scrunched up there. That's another feature, the short names for actors, which I'm going to show you later on. That's another feature in Gorilla 11 that we added. So don't worry about that for now because we fixed that in a really cool feature. So this is the call sheet. Let me do now a day out of days report. So now we've printed a day out of days report, and we saw the report before, and Barney and Amanda were scheduled for day 1. But notice now they are not. Now Amanda starts on day 2, and Barney starts on day 3. So this allowed them to not be part of the day out of days, because that doesn't make sense either. They're not working on that day as a scheduled actor. Voiceover is something different, but day out of days is supposed to be on the set. Now, let me show you one other thing, and that's how to manage the voiceover. Now, this is individually here, how to manage a voiceover off screen or non-speaking, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. But before I do, let me go to Extras, Scheduling, Preferences, and in the Day Out of Days tab over here, down on the bottom, Call Sheet, How to Handle Off-Screen and Voiceover. And here you have a couple options. So if you want to show the off-screen in the call sheet, you can go ahead. By default, it's turned off, right? But you can go ahead and do that and show the voiceover. Now, if I printed a call sheet, Barney and Amanda would appear on the call sheet. So you can handle that globally. Similarly, day out of days, how to handle off-screen and voiceover for day out of days. Here, by default, it's the reverse. It says do not include off-screen for cast members on the day out of days. Do not include voiceover for cast members on the day out of days. If you wanted to, you can come here, set and turn these off, and globally that setting would be changed. Now let me show you non-speaking here and why that's important. So Rich Lady, this one is non-speaking. So if I were to print, now there are some reports that will show that. Let's show a shooting schedule report here real quick. And I'm going to do for the same day. And this particular report, notice that it'll now show Amanda voiceover, Barney voiceover, and Rich Lady right here is non-speaking. So on certain reports, shooting schedule is one of them, it will show the voiceover or the off-screen or the non-speaking after the name of the cast member. Now, there are a few other reports where it displays the voiceover, the off-screen, or the non-speaking after the name of the cast member, and I'll show you those real quick. Another one is the breakdown summary report. So if I were to select this report, you can see right over here for scene 1, Amanda, Barney, voiceover, and background actors. Rich Lady Walking Poodle is non-speaking. Another report that will show that is the character scene report. And this report here, you can see this is by character, and you can see Amanda in scene 1 is voiceover, Barney in scene 1 is voiceover. And the this was character scene, so I don't think background actors show here. Oh, they do. Here's Rich Lady Walking Poodle. It shows background actors too, and you can see here very clearly it shows non-speaking. So this is a really, really good feature, especially when it comes to management of call sheets and day out of days. The next new feature in Gorilla Studio 11 is the password lock feature. Now, this is a feature that works with the scheduling module and the budgeting module. And what this allows you to do is simply allows you to lock a schedule or a budget with a password. And you do this in the project manager. So if we are in the project manager, and this is the screen that is launched when Gorilla first launches, you can now lock a schedule or a budget with a password. And this is really helpful if you are in a multi-user environment, in a lab environment, in a school where multiple people are using Gorilla with their own profiles, but still you want to be able to lock a schedule or a budget. So let's go in and do this for a schedule first. You can click on the 3 dots here and click on the info button. And there are a couple new options down here, password and hide schedule. Hide schedule is another feature that we added in Gorilla 11. I'm going to show you that in the later on in this video. So let's go ahead and select password. It says this schedule is not password protected. Now I'm going to go ahead and enter a password and confirm it and click OK. Now it's going to ask you for a hint. It is recommended that you enter a hint because passwords cannot be recovered if lost or forgotten. Of course, that's a terrible hint, but I'm just going to put that in there right now just to have one. The schedule is now password protected, so let's go ahead and close that and close this. And you're going to see a shield here. And that, of course, means that this schedule is password protected. So let's go ahead and launch the schedule, and we're stopped. We're stopped here because it's asking for the password. If I click OK, it's going to say incorrect. If I click cancel, of course, it's going to cancel. If I click hint, it's going to show me my hint. So obviously, there's no way to get into this password, into this schedule, without entering the password. So let's go ahead and click the schedule again. I'm going to put in my password and click OK, and it's going to launch the schedule, and you can do whatever you want to do to the schedule. So let me go back now and say you want to disable the password for whatever reason. You can either click this shield button here or go back to info and deselect that. Now when you do, let me do it this way. Of course, it's going to ask you for the password. So if I enter something random, obviously not, right? It's going to say incorrect. So you cannot disable a password if it is password protected and you don't have the password. So let me disable it with the proper password. And it is now disabled. Now, it is important to note that I just disabled it. When you save a schedule with a password protect, the password protect is part of that schedule. So if you try to load that schedule into another copy of Gorilla, or delete the schedule and then try to load a password protected schedule, that schedule is still password protected. So you still need the password. Same thing with the budget. So let me go now to the budget. Click on this. You click edit, and same thing. You're going to have a password here. I'm going to put in a password and confirm it. Now I'm going to put something wrong. That's not, obviously that's not the right one, just to make sure. Do not match. Very good. Okay, let's try it again. And a hint. Obviously, that is a very bad hint. This budget is now password protected. So we're going to click OK, close this, and same thing. You have a shield right here. We're going to go ahead and click the name of the budget. And of course, we have to enter a password. And it'll allow us to go into the top sheet. And similarly, if we wanted to disable the password, we would go back to the project manager, click on the shield, and select the password, enter the password for disabling it. And then it would be disabled. So this is a really cool feature that allows you to password protect your schedules and budgets. All right, the next new feature in Gorilla Studio 11 is the ability to change all currency globally in your budget to another currency. Now, obviously, this is a budgeting feature. So let's go ahead and hop into a budget and show you how that works. Now, in currency, we've always had the ability to convert a line to a different currency, but now this feature allows you to convert the entire budget to a separate currency. So let's set up our currencies first. And if you don't know how to do that, you want to go up to the Setup pull-down menu and select Currencies. Currently, we have only one default currency, which is USD. So let's go ahead and set up another one. We can use our quick pick option here. And let's say we want to set up a currency for euros. I select euros, and you can see here that euros is a conversion currency. The base currency is the USD currency. You can only have one base currency, and other currencies can be conversion currencies. You could have a euro as a base currency if you wanted. We have USD by default as a base currency. So let's go ahead and find the conversion rate, the current conversion rate for euros. We have some URLs down here that you can click on. I'll just click on the very first one. And for euro, The conversion rate here is for $1, it is 0.85. So we're going to go ahead and put in the conversion rate right here as 0.85. So now every time that I go to a line item in the budget and I select euro for that currency, it will convert. Well, it will actually do another column. Let me show you how to do that in a minute. But it will show another column with the converted currency. In this case is euro. So I'll show you how to do that before I do the global. So let's close the currency setup and let's go into just any line item really. And 2000, that's a nice simple one to do. And we'll go into the rate over here. Here is the currency. It is 2000 US. So if I were to click under the currency column right here, notice that I now have an option for euro. By default, the currency is USD because that's the default. So I can click on the euro and notice what happens. The currency changes to EUR, which is the euro currency symbol or text. And the symbol is here in brackets as 1700. So you can still see the USD currency and you can now see the euro currency when you print a budget, even though the totals, as you can see down here, are 2000, which is USD. You can see that line item as a euro currency, which would be very easy, of course, if you needed to pay your UPM, your production manager in euros or whatever else you have to pay. So this we've already had. This feature was already here, which is the line item currency conversion. But now we've added, let me actually put this back to the base currency, 2000. So now we added a feature to convert the entire currency. Let me go back to the top sheet and go back into currency. And there is a new button here on the line that says convert to. Now, if I select this button right here next to euros, you will get a pop-up that explains the currency conversion. There are two ways to use the currency. The first way is by line, which is what I just showed you. It's pretty much exactly what I showed you right here. In brackets, it'll show you the converted currency in brown. And the second is the global conversion. So if I wanted to do this one, I can click convert using option 2. Now, note, it is important to save the budget before you do this because it's going to convert the entire budget to a different currency. So I would maybe make a duplicate of the budget, call it euro currency or currency conversion if you want, and then go ahead and do this. So if I select the currency, there we go. It's saying this is the warning. This will convert your entire budget from the base currency of USD to the euros. Conversion rate is 0.85 because that's what we specified. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on convert. Again, we're going through another little alert. It's just making sure. Click OK to update accounts on the top sheet to show the new currency. Okay, we'll do that. So let's see what happens. And you can see it made euros the base currency. If you saw that real quick, I'll show you that in a minute. So let's go ahead and go into currencies. I should have made note of the total, but you see the base currency is now euro, and the rate here, the base currency is always 1-to-1. Okay, and now the conversion is USD, and the rate, it wouldn't be 0.85 because that would be the other way. This is now for every euro, it's $1.17 in USD. So if I wanted to specify a line in USD, it would be the rate would be $1.17 per euro. Does that make sense? So now the entire budget is now in euros. So that is a really cool feature. And again, you're not going to see this one, is this still USD? Maybe that's why that was still there. But you're not going to see the euro symbol all over here because the base currency is already euro. So that's a really cool feature in Gorilla Studio 11. All right, the next feature in Gorilla Studio 11 is also a currency feature. It's not really related to the change all currency, but it is sort of a sister feature, so we're going to put it right after. And it's called reverse base currency. And what that allows you to do is to specify a single line in the budget to not use the conversion rate. Let's go back to the budget, the same line that we were using before. Now we changed the currency, the base currency here. Let's go back into currencies to euros, which is fine. And this particular line has a euro, but it also has a USD conversion of 2,000. So that's the reverse because it's now 1.17 per euro. Okay. Now what we can do is let's create another line and I'll show you how this works. It's a little bit confusing, but it can be useful. We'll just call this test and I'll just give this a simple rate of 1,000. Now let's go into this currency and say that we want this to be USD, but I want it to be 1,000 USD, not converted, right? So if I make selected currency base for this line only, I select this, I select US, and notice that it will put 1,000, and this is in dollars, it's in USD. There is no conversion for this particular line. This is USD 1,700, and this is 1,000 also in dollars. So yeah, that is correct. It's 2,700. But notice the difference. Here we have a conversion of 2,000, and here we have 1,700. So it's it can be confusing, but some people have asked for the feature to be able to enter like if you want to enter Chinese yuan, as 5,000 and not have it converted, this is the feature to use. There's a little more of an explanation to it here. If you go into currencies, and it'll say down over here, you can assign line items as reverse base currency on a line-by-line basis. And that's what we did. So example, US dollar, this is US dollar is a base currency, but if you assign a line to be reverse base, which is what we just did, then that line should only be entered as the foreign currency, which is what I did. This is reversed. I did US dollar as opposed to euros. And the reverse conversion rate entered in reverse base currency should be the reverse of the base currency. It's a little confusing. But if you play with it a little bit, you can, and if you need to do this, you can do this. If you don't, I would stay away from it. But it is a feature that people have requested, so we added it. Normally, you run a data days report and you get total days worked for a cast member or for an element. In this instance, this new feature allows you to run a data days report on an element that is not a cast member. So for example, props or set dressing or wardrobe, and enter that number into the budget. So I'll show you how that works. So let me go into scheduling. This, of course, you do need to have Gorilla scheduling with this to work. I'm going to go into a particular schedule and run a data days report for, let's say, props. And we don't have too many props here. It's a short schedule, but we're going to run a data days report, not for cast members, but for props. Okay, so we ran a data days report for props, and you could see the names of the props here on the left-hand side, and the total days worked here, or total days that the props are needed. All right, I'm going to link this budget to the schedule. I'm going to go into the budget, and props, we could put them in a few different places. We could put them in production design, we could put them in set operations. I don't think it really matters for this tutorial, but let's go ahead and, well, they really shouldn't be there. Let's try to put it into production design. There we go. So prop rentals will be fine. Let's go ahead into prop rentals. So now if we click on the import elements button here and select props, we're going to see a new column, total days worked. Now it might be similar to quantity and schedule and occurrences, but this is an actual day out of days report on the props because we just did it. And in fact, you can see quantity and schedule here for the rolling pin is 3 and this is 1. So it is not exactly the same, but it can be. So you want to go down here, select column to import, and we now have this new column here, total days worked. And we want to select either amount X or we could say don't import if you don't want to import that at all. I'll select X and import rate. There are no rates here, but we do need to enter something. So I'll just leave it as hourly. And it does give you an alert here that total days worked will only display if the schedule is complete, the stripboard and the day out of days report has been run for the selected category. You can actually run the day out of days report from this screen also, if you haven't run it from the schedule. And I'm going to click on select all. You could select one at a time. If you'll want to just select one of these props, you can do that, but I'm going to select all, and all of the props will import with the X amount, the column for X as the total days worked. All right, the next new feature in Gorilla Studio 11 is called placeholder for actors. And what this allows you to do is when you create a budget, you usually budget for actors. You don't budget for characters. So when you import your actors from Gorilla, if you don't have actors, if you only have characters, then you won't be able to really do an import. You'd have to manually create the actor in the budget. So this allows you to create placeholders in the actors module so you could import that into the budget. Let me show you how that works. Now this is actually it says scheduling, but to be honest with you, it's actually a scheduling and a budgeting feature. So it's both. So I'm going to go into the schedule that we're using here. And I do have the actors tab here. I'm going to select actors. And now it happens to be here that I have actors and I have the roles played. And these are the cast members that were imported from the screenplay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a few more characters that don't have actors. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. All right, so I created 3 cast members. You're not going to see them here because I'm in the actors module, but let me go to elements real quick and show you here. If I click on cast members, here are the 3 at the very bottom: Fred Flintstone, Barney Rubble, and Wilma Flintstone. They are all cast members. They are not cast with actors, however. I just created cast members. This is what would happen if you were to import your screenplay from a screenplay program. You would get the elements as cast members, but not actors. So let's go to the actors module. And of course, we're not going to see them because I did not create an actor to represent that cast member. So now if I select this new option, create placeholders for actors. Now, if I do have actors, then of course I can create an actor record and attach them to the character. But if I don't, I can select this button here, and it says here that this will create actor records based on the cast members elements imported from your screenplay. This is useful for scheduling when an actor record is needed. You can then change the name of the record when the actor is actually cast. So I'm going to click on Create. Now, it's not going to modify the actors that we have here. It's only going to add, and I clicked on OK. It's only going to add the ones here, Barney. And of course, it just names it. It names the actor record the name of the character temporarily. So I have Barney. I've got Fred, and I've got Wilma, and you can see that it happens to be that Sean Smith, the actor name is Barney. Let that not confuse you. But now I've got 3 placeholder actor records. Now I can go in at any time. Let's say if I go into this info here and change Barney Rubble to an actual actor name. But you can see that Barney Rubble, the temporary actor name, is attached to the role Barney Rubble, which is the cast member or the character, if you want to call it that. So now, if I go into the a budget, the linked budget, and I can go into the import, let's say if I want to import actors as opposed to characters, because you can do both. Let me go into talent. And go into actors, go to the detail level. You always want to import from scheduling into the detail level, the green level here. And I've got a lead actor here and some more information here, but that's irrelevant. But let's go down here to import actors, and it's giving me a day-to-days message, which is fine. And you can see here, if you want to see the total days worked here, you need to run the data days report before you import. But you can see here that under Fred, Barney, and Wilma, I've got these temporary names here because these are the names of the characters. They wouldn't be here otherwise if I didn't do what I did. Because this is importing, remember, from actors. This is not importing from characters. Note the difference, right? When I'm creating a budget, you want a budget for actors, not necessarily characters. So if I click just one, if I just want to click Fred, for example, I can see that this record did import. I didn't have a rate attached to it, but if I select the link, it is now showing me the scheduling record for this actor. Okay. Now let's say, for example, you wanted to import, instead of actors, you wanted to import the character, which you can do. This is a feature that we've already had. So instead of the actor, again, that's a temporary name, you can go into elements, and instead of importing actors, if you want, you can import characters. So if I were to select Fred Flintstone here, understand what I'm doing here. I'm kind of doing a double entry. I'm importing now total days worked. They haven't been scheduled for any scene, so that's why you're not going to see anything here. But if I import here, I could select all. This will bring in all the characters, not the actors. I hope that makes a lot of sense. You can import actors or you can import characters. And the placeholder for actors is important because then you can do that in one shot, create a whole bunch of placeholder actor names, and then import all those actors, temporary actor names, into the budget. Okay, the next feature, since we're still in actors, is also another actors and an elements feature, and it is, of course, a scheduling feature. It is called short name for element and actors. And what this allows you to do is to create a short name for a particular element or an actor to display on call sheets and other reports. And let me show you how this can be beneficial to you. You see here on this call sheet, there is a character name called Rich Lady Walking Poodle, and you can see it is actually a very long name that is scrunching up to the actor name. So there's really no reason for the character name to be that long. So what we can do is we can assign an element, in this particular instance, the cast member or the background actor, a shorter name. So let's go ahead and do that. Now you can do this with elements and actors. In this particular instance, I want to do it with the element. So I'm going to click on element. I'm going to filter here to see background actors. And normally this would make a lot of sense. Background actors can have a long name. In this instance, you can see these three background actors: Rich Lady Walking Poodle, that's the one we're talking about, and even Greasy Homeless Man. You could just say, homeless man, or you could say bum. That would work also. But I don't want to change the actual text for the element. I only want to change it for certain reports like call sheets, which you can only show a certain amount of information. So if I go ahead and click the three dots here for this particular element, there's a new option here that says short name. And if I click it, I can go ahead and let's just call it Lady 1. You can call it whatever you want, but the whole point is to name it something shorter than the actual element name. And notice the description here. It says this is not required, but you can select use short name option to display the short name instead of the full name on call sheets and other reports. So I'm going to select the checkbox. Now it's only going to do it for this particular element. So I'm going to close this up and close this one. And let's go ahead and do this for Greasy Homeless Man also. And I'm going to click on use short name, and I'll call this bum 1 and use short name for this element, and close this up and close this up. Now we can also do it for actors. I'm going to go in just to show you, but I'm not going to. So let's go to Rich Lady Walking Poodle here, go to info. Now we're in actors, we're not in elements, and there's a short name option here, and there is something there, but I'm not going to use it. And this is not check marked, so it's not going to show on the call sheet. But the name here is Jane Doe. That's short enough. We don't have to worry about that. And so I'm not going to worry about the actor. So let's go ahead and run a call sheet now for this particular day. All right, and the call sheet is now generated, and you can see here in the role played section, it looks very clean. We've got role played, Lady 1, played by Jane Doe, which is the actor, and the role played of Bum 1, played by John Doe. And of course, if we had we saw before, Rich Lady, Walking Poodle, and Greasy Homeless Man took up a little bit more room here that we wanted. So we now have this option to create a short name. Now you could do this not just for background actors. You could do it for elements. Now if I look down over here, I can see, and these all look very nice for the most part in here. But if you wanted, and remember this particular format for this particular template has a 4-column view for elements, which looks pretty nice if you wanted to put elements on your call sheet. And if you saw a whole bunch that were really, really long, you could do the same thing here. You just go to the element name. In elements, use the short name option, check mark the short name checkbox, go ahead and print a call sheet, and you will see the short name on the call sheet. So some of the reports that you will see the short name for elements, for example, here you'll see Lady 1 on the breakdown sheet. But if you were to go to some of the reports, you can, let's see, now we've got there's actually quite a few reports. There's about 5 reports. The character scene is one of them. This one you'll actually see both names. So if you go to the second page here, you're going to see Rich Lady, Walking Poodle, and in parens, you'll see the short name. That's the character scene report. In, for example, the shooting schedule report, you will also see the short name. Let me go to the first day here. And you can see here background actors, Lady 1 off screen. And if you go to right here, Bum, that was the greasy homeless man. Okay. And then if you go to a few others, the breakdown summary report, you will see also the short name. So you're going to see it sort of throughout Gorilla in the reports. And that's really what it's meant for. And there we go, Lady 1. You'll also see it in the breakdown boxes report, in case you print that, which is the legacy report. And you could see, and this actually makes a lot of sense because you're confined to these boxes when you display the element name. And sometimes the element name can go way beyond the name of the box. Normally it will cut off with a ... but with using the short name option, you can see here it fits nicely in the box. Okay, the next feature is hide schedule or budget in the project manager. Now this is a really cool feature, not just for organization, because you can hide schedules or budgets in the list of the manager, but it can also be used in conjunction with the password lock feature. So you can now hide or show a budget so that other people, if they log on to the same computer, they won't see your schedules or budgets at all. So let's go into the project manager here, and the same place where we did the password lock is where we're going to select the hide schedule or budget. So let's go ahead and hide the very first schedule. Let's say this computer is being shared by other people. I can go into the info here, and we can lock it, of course, and hide it, but I'm going to leave the lock right now as is, and I'm going to click on hide schedule. Now it says here, although this schedule is flagged as hidden, current setting has all hidden schedules to be seen. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on the more info. In order for a schedule flagged as hidden to not show in the project manager, select the extras menu and then select hide hidden schedules. So let's do that. So I'm going to close this. Notice it's still displayed. It's not hidden, but it's flagged to be hidden. So if I want to actually hide it, I can go under the extras pull down menu, and I could say show hide schedules, and I could say hide hidden schedules. Another layer there. So I'm going to click hide hidden schedules, and it's gone. So if I quit Gorilla right now, log in again, I'm not going to see that schedule in here. Don't freak out. It's still there. It's just hidden. So you got to use this feature with a little bit of caution. Let's do the same thing with a budget. I'll do it for this one down here, the $1 million budget. I'm going to click on the edit button. I'm going to click on this. It says this budget is not hidden. I'm going to click hide. Same thing. Although this budget is flagged as hidden, current setting has all hidden budgets to be seen. So same thing. And if you click on the more info, it's going to tell you the same thing. Go to the extras pull down. So you see it's still there. So as the setting right now is hide hidden schedules, don't hide hidden budgets. So you see how that works? It's a second level. So I'm going to click on extras. I'm going to select hide hidden budgets. And the $1 million budget is gone. Okay, not gone, it's hidden. Don't freak out. So let's go back and show them. We're going to go back. And again, we don't have to do password lock for this. We're just going to go into here and say show hide schedules, show hidden schedules. And there it is. It's not going to, if I just leave it as is right now, nothing's going to happen. I can go into the schedule, no problem, and work on it and do whatever I want to do to it. It's just flagged as hidden if I want to select that option. Okay, and then same thing with a budget. If I go into show hide budgets and I select show hidden budgets, it will now show. And again, if I want to just turn that off completely so I don't get confused, if you don't want to use this feature, don't even bother, and select that. And now this schedule is not hidden. And the same thing with the $1 million budget. We'll go into here, the edit, and there we go. This budget is not hidden. So that's a new feature to use, hide or show schedule or budget. The next feature is called import screenplay display from another schedule. And what this allows you to do is you can import the screenplay display from another schedule into a scene, into your current schedule. And I'll show you why that's advantageous if you need to use that. So here we're going to go back to the project manager. Now you can see here we have a scene, and I'm going to go back to the manager. Now I happen to have, I did this on purpose, two different versions of a schedule. And this one was modified, and then this one was also modified in the screenplay in Final Draft. And this one has a updated scene 1 display. So there's many ways you can fix this, but this is just one of the new ways. So for example, if I click on the second one, the version 10 here, and I can see here it's a very simple screenplay display. It's only a couple lines here, and that's the one that I want to use. However, my schedule is right here, the 2026. This is the one that has the strip board and the shoot days and all the information that I already did. But the screenplay display is not the same, as you can see down here. So we have a feature called import screenplay display from another schedule. So let's go ahead and see how that works. So under the screenplay pull-down menu, you will see a new option here called import screenplay display from another schedule. So I'm going to select that. And you can see this nice big window here. And select scene to import screenplay display. But first we have to select a schedule. In orange is showing you the schedule that we are on. As you can see here, it's Hotel Cucaracha Spring 2026. So you cannot select the same schedule. I'm going to select this one here, the version 10. I'm going to select scene to import scene 1. And it will show you here a preview of what is going to import. And you can move this out of the way if you want, just real quick, just to compare. You see it's very close. This was added some information here, but I wanted to go back to this screenplay display. Now I can go in here and modify it. I can override this and not do this. I can go here. I can click the edit button here, and I can edit the screenplay and remove it. However, that's a manual process. Over here, what I can do now, you can see that the check mark is there. It says screenplay display will overwrite existing display for the scene. It does not change any scheduled elements. So I'm going to click on import. It's going to refresh the display. And you can see, here we go. There's now the imported screenplay display from that particular schedule. And it overwrote what was over here. Now, notice it did not change any of the scheduled elements. So it did not delete them. It did not add them. So if you did have things that were tagged in the screenplay, it does not bring them over. You will need to tag them separately. So those are the top features for Gorilla Studio 11. There are more features and enhancements that we are releasing with this version. Go ahead and download the demo. Check it out at junglesoftware.com. You can also download the Gorilla scheduling or the combo pack. It doesn't matter which one. And you can demo the breakdown assistant before you actually decide if you want to use it or not. So that is a really, really nice feature that we added. So hopefully this is going to be a very, very nice release for all you filmmakers. Thanks a lot.